today. I couldn't figure out how to reset it. The countdown timer is all kind of screwed up, so ignore the 12 minutes. It's coming in sooner for anyone that might be there already. Somebody's there.
I think it's just me.
3 times? No.
Oh, maybe not.
Shows I have 3 concurrent viewers right now, so hey.
I had to refresh, and for some reason, the chat thingy won't turn on.
It's okay.
That's weird.
I don't have an answer.
I'll try refreshing again. Refresh.
Give it a shot. See what happens.
There we go. That fixed it.
Any number of things can get it working. We are talking about the internet here. And how it works perfectly until it doesn't work perfectly.
So I have a fun animal story.
Mm-hmm.
Not the chickens this time.
No chickens? Okay.
No, this time it is the cat.
Hey,
my
Hemdian.
kitten. Hi, Hemdian. It's good to see ya.
Glad
you could make it.
Ignore the countdown timer. It's 5 minutes fast.
It's broken today.
Or slow. It's 5 minutes slow.
So I have a kitten named Bean. He's totally awesome. Little tiny void floof.
Yeah.
Actually, he's not so tiny now. He's like 3 times the size he was when we got him a few months ago.
Yeah, I saw him the other day.
Yeah. You know why you saw him? Because he figured out a way to escape.
Uh-huh.
So we live in a, it's not totally finished downstairs area. And the vent area, it's got like the bone structure around it, but we haven't put the drywall up around it yet.
Mm.
And he's figured out that if he gets up there by climbing the wall, literally climbing the wall,
mm-hmm.
he climbs up there and gets right alongside of the vent, and he can just walk right through into the furnace room. So I've blocked it off with just cardboard and staples. So you know what he's doing now? He's climbing the cardboard like a freaking spider cat, and he's trying to rip the cardboard off, which he's done once, and I had to restaple it on there. Now we just have to we have to keep the water bottle close so we can squirt him when he starts ripping at the cardboard, because we can't have him escape because he's not an outdoor kitty. He's an indoor kitty. Mm-hmm. He doesn't agree with this, though. He thinks he should be an outdoor kitty.
Yeah. Well, he's got opinions.
He does, and because I've stopped him from using this escape hatch, he's been walking around and just making sure we're looking at him and knocking things down.
Cool. All right, little music. Carry us right to showtime.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder, we're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, we must be time.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 669, and we have plugins for secure documents with repeating relations and some darkness, all coming up on and some WordPress news, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress, the king of content management systems, powering the web with over 80,000 plugins to choose from. How do you sort the junk from the gems? Welcome to WP Plugins A to Z, where we've been keeping the pulse of WordPress alive for over 16 incredible years. Join us every week for an unrehearsed, real talk breakdowns of the latest and greatest plugins, developer and community member interviews. Some weeks, Amber and I team up to dig in. Others, I'm flying solo, unpacking WordPress news, demoing a standout plugin, or sharing tips to power up your site. No scripts, no fluff, just the good stuff from A to Z. So plug in and let's get rolling. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the southern Vancouver Island area, no longer the brewery overlook, since the brewery is now closed, which is a shame. I'm John Overall.
And I'm Amber Lynn.
And we are here to give you another great show. I think we missed out on an opportunity here at 669,
We did, but
we
because of our show, we can't touch it.
We kind of blew a marketing opportunity for it. At any rate, we got lots of good things coming. As I mentioned, I am no longer at the brewery overlook because the brewery has closed down. I didn't even realize it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they shut down at the end of January. They closed up and sold all their stuff to Phillips.
Jeez.
Yeah. I didn't even realize.
Well, but if it's Phillips Brewery now, it's still a brewery, isn't it?
No, they closed down this brewery. They moved all the stuff to Phillips downtown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Phillips bought all their brands, labels. Looks like they bought their tanks and everything. I didn't even realize. It's like I walk by it all the time, but I hardly ever look in there. And I thought, you know what? I think I could go have a beer. And I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. It's like it's missing the tanks. It's missing this. It's like, it was a bummer.
Crazy.
It was a bummer. Lost a brewery. Well, it seems BC's lost a lot of breweries in the last year. At any rate, let's continue on with the show instead of being sidetracked on beer.
Well, I wonder what they're going to have there next. Maybe they'll have like a coffee roaster house or something.
Who knows? It'll be a while before they lease it out, I imagine.
Well, welcome to episode 669 from A to Z, your VIP pass to WordPress plugin perfection. We've got a couple of great in-depth plugins to cover for you. We have, I think this is pronounced Filler?
Mm-hmm.
Secure Document Library, which helps you with safely uploading, organizing, and sharing your documents on your site. Repeaters and Relationships Connector with ACF for Elementor, which shows you how to use, which you can, I'm tripping over my own notes, which allows you to use ACF Repeater and ACF Relationship fields as data sources for Elementor's Loop Grid widget. And the last one we have is WP Dark Mode, improve accessibility with AI-powered dark theme, which brings darkness to your front end as well as your admin panel. And of course, we've got some recent news in both the WordPress world and the tech world in general with a WordPress tip as well. And I just have to say, beware the birds, because I'm finding that birds are getting rather aggressive and stealing fries and stuff recently. I think they're gearing up for their mating season or something, because I had two birds stealing fries right beside me.
Well,
So not cool.
they're hungry.
We have a excuse me. We have a couple reminders here just before we start the show. You can join us here in person every Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific time to enjoy our show. Sometimes it's just John, sometimes it's John and myself. And our show notes are added to WP Plugins A-Z.com within 24 hours of the show airing. You can find them either on the homepage or in the podcast vaults. And this is a value for value show, so help us get some lovin' by hitting some buttons. Share an episode or two, or just turn us up really loudly. Someone will hear us and absolutely love what we have. And don't forget to stick around till the end, because there's always a couple of interesting questions right at the end. Our artist today is Dolly.
Yes.
It's not what I personally use, but it seems kind of cool.
Well, it is. It's not bad. It's really close to Grok, and it's the closest I could get to a square image. None of the AI art generators wants to create a square image anymore. They keep wanting this one here built it out in landscape form. Grok was wanting to stick them into portrait form. It's like, no, I want it square, 1-to-1. I even told you in the prompt, 1-to-1 ratio. They're not listening anymore. They're revolting. The AI is starting to revolt.
It's displeased. It doesn't like the square images. It's got to be portrait, goddammit.
Yep. So anyway, no, it's a pretty good piece of art. All right, I guess we go into news.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
So, as always, we have here the WordPress Vulnerability Report from Solid WP. This is actually the lowest numbers I've seen in a while, with only 68 vulnerabilities this time around. 67 are plugins and only one theme issue. We've only got 4 plugins left to be patched, and one theme has already been patched. So make sure you go through here, check out the list, see if your plugins or your client's plugins are on this list. If they are, go do your updates immediately.
Yeah, keep your updates handy, folks. We'll be talking more about reasons for that later.
Next, we have the WordPress Vulnerability Report from PatchStack. These guys are as up-to-date as possible. You'll find stuff that was posted as little as 3 seconds ago at times. So, yeah, keep these guys on hand. Check them out when you need to.
Yep.
Next up, I have decision to build EM- came from Cloudflare's CEO engineer reveal. So
you skipped one. You skipped WordPress 7 pre-release. Paused.
Oh, I totally did. Okay, so yeah, WordPress 7.0 pre-release paused through April 17th. New schedule due by April 22nd. So what's going on, so far as I understand, is they're having some issues with the live or the real-time collaboration, as well as a couple other issues that are going on. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, we can't actually release this yet. And in an unprecedented step, they're actually going back to beta.
Yeah, so, well, I'm happy they're doing that instead of cramming something down our throats, which is half working.
Yes, actually,
and then spending 10 years trying to make it work.
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember who it was that brought this up, but somebody ended up bringing up the fact that the AI they're putting in there, any plugin can start using the AI tokens and everything once it gets going. So that means that your cost would like skyrocket.
Yes,
they haven't put a limit on it yet.
I saw that. That is another problem that they're not addressing yet. Yeah, they're putting in the core the ability to dump your AI token into there, and any plugin can have it with the plugins not even having limits to it. Now, it's not a problem if you've got a hard dollar cap on your stuff. But if you don't,
most people don't. Most
people have auto recharge and whatnot, and it could a plugin can go wild and just charge you till you're broke, beyond broke.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that they're working on fixing. They're also working on there's a bunch of things they're working on.
Yeah, well,
and they've never done this before, so far as I am aware, where they've gone back to beta after getting to the release point.
No, they as far as I can remember, they've never done it. But yeah.
Next one is a decision to build EM- from came from Cloudflare CEO engineer reveal. So this particular one is kind of down the road. Most of what we get with this article is like some background information and more of a story, and it's mostly just talking about like how they came to this. But the whole idea of the EM dash, I think, is kind of interesting. If you're interested in seeing other articles about this that gives you a bit more direct information, we have them in the extra news down below. But I thought this was kind of interesting because what they're doing here is they are aiming to create something that works better with the younger generation, which heavily relies on AI.
Mm-hmm.
And although they say that they only use AI, no, they are heavily relying on AI. They don't really do the kind of code writing that is required for a lot of building in HTML and everything. They use AI for it. They also use other things that are only lightly used in CMSs like WordPress. So I find it interesting that they're working on this. Now, it could go really great, and it would be great for people who aren't that literate in understanding the code and what's going on, but I don't know. I kind of hope it does end up coming to fruition. Right now it's just an experiment, but I kind of hope it does come to fruition, because having this will also cause the WordPress community itself to really step up their game and start using their imagination, which I think will be great.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, EM Dash, many people thought it was a joke when it came out because it was released on April Fool's Day. And I hadn't looked at it myself, but I saw the screenshots. It's like looking at the back end of WordPress 2.0.
Yeah?
Yeah, the dashboard looks like the original WordPress dashboard in many ways, aspects. And many of the things it does is similar to the early years of WordPress. So it's just interesting. I don't know where it's going or what it's doing. I've only peripherally paid attention to it because I don't have time to chase down whatever the latest fluff is.
Well, I did look into it, and it is very interesting. They are absolutely open source.
Yeah.
They want to be able to use this everywhere, which makes sense. And the whole thing that got them started on this was, if WordPress had been built today, what would it look like? And that's what they're going with.
It's funny. If it had been built today, it looks like WordPress was built 20 years ago.
I know.
In the dashboard. Yeah. Well, the other interesting thing that I did catch in this is that to use the plugins stuff that they're trying to do, you have to run it through Cloudflare. You can't run it as standalone and access the plugin system. At least that's what I read somewhere, which tells me that Cloudflare is trying to turn this into something for themselves and eventually monetize. So,
well, that actually is touched on in here, and if I understand what was said correctly, that is how it is right now, but their goal is to make it so it doesn't need Cloudflare at all.
Oh, okay. Well, good for them. It'll be interesting to see how it evolves over the next year or two, if it continues to evolve. But with Cloudflare's backing, it could evolve quite nicely. The biggest thing is you got to find a community to step up and build the plugin system for it.
Yes. So next thing I have here is WordPress AI connectors lack plugin level controls. The AI team is already working on. So this is actually what I mentioned before, and I have the name here. WP World's Marcus Burnett is the one who raised the valid concerns regarding the gap in AI connectors for WordPress 7.0. So yeah, this is one of the main things that they are working on. And if anybody's interested, go read this. It gives you a pretty comprehensive understanding.
Cool.
Excuse me. Next, I have Elementor launches Angie, a free AI plugin for building custom WordPress functionality. This could be great or not. I haven't really played with it recently. I remember when they first came out, and honestly, the AIs remind me of golden retrievers. You can give them one command at a time. If you give them two, they'll just grab the nearest stick and hope that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, sort of. It looks interesting. I must have missed this one when it came out, so I'll have to dig into this on my sandbox and see how it works for building out custom stuff.
Yeah, I haven't tried it recently, but I remember playing around with the AI when it first came out like a year or two ago, and I've been playing with the Elementor AI off and on for the last couple of years since I first started bringing it forward, and it has gotten better. I think that so long as people don't 100% rely on it, it's going to be a fantastic tool. You can tell it, hey, I need this information. I need it to be combined with this. No problem. Or I need you to figure out what's wrong with this. No problem.
Yeah, well, what I'm understanding in this, though, is it's not so much for helping with content, but you want a new functionality like, hey, you know what? I want a new style of gallery system like I built for WP Plugins. And you tell that to build it using the natural language I just did, and it goes and builds it. And then presents you the code, puts it on your site, and then tests it on your site. That's what I was just reading through the article. So it's a little bit more. It's kind of like getting Claude code involved, or the Claude AI involved, and letting it go wild. So
it can be great.
Yeah.
Just keep a close eye on it and make sure you test before you make anything live.
Do not give the AI access to your live site. Period.
No, just don't. Use it on your sandbox and keep it private.
Use it on a sandbox that is completely separate, so if it wipes everything out and goes, I didn't do that, you can go, yes, you did, and now it's gone.
Yeah, see, golden retriever. He gave it the wrong direction, or too many directions at once.
Yeah, okay.
Next, I have, it's one of those feel-good things. It's Sword, SWORD, wins CloudFest Hackathon 2026.
Cool.
So Sword is a self-hosted WordPress control panel build on Docker and has taken top prize at CloudFest Hackathon 2026. Universal Access Browser Extension placed as second, and Frugal AI placed as third. And there was 101 attendees from 20 different countries. I love these things. I think they're fantastic, and they're a lot of fun to watch. I enjoy them. So I just wanted to bring that forward.
Hackers on massive amounts of caffeine.
Heck yeah. It's so much fun to watch these. I find them so fascinating.
Yep.
And the last thing I have here is Skywatching in April 2026. We've missed the first couple cool things happening this month, but we still have the Moon-Venus conjunction on April 18th and 19th, the Moon-Jupiter conjunction on April 22nd, and the Lyrid, is it Lyrid or Lyrid? Lyrid.
Take your pick.
Meteor shower.
Yeah, you're missing something here that's not being talked about very much. We have an asteroid passing through around the 25th, too.
Oh, yeah. I did totally miss that.
Yeah. And it's supposed to brighten up into the sky to where you can see it in the northern hemisphere. So, anyway, there you go. There's your sky watching for today. All right.
So yeah, do check out our extras here. There's a lot of information here and some background information for just various things. Worth checking out.
All right. Well, we do have a little bit on Rogue's Corner today. My whiny puppy.
He is that.
He is that at times. He's a whiny puppy. And then he's a happy puppy. All right. So, first off in Rogue's Corner, I'm trying to make sure every week I promote something in the featured promotion. This week here, we are featuring Checkout Summit 2026 coming up really quick. If you don't have your tickets, well, I don't know if they're still available, but you do want to go check it out if you can get to Palmero, Italy, and go enjoy yourself. Go hang with the top 1% of WooCommerce professionals and learn about building plugins, optimizing tricky stuff, no marketing fluff, no generic talks, just conversations, challenges, and real solutions. And this is going to be quite a nice event. If you want to learn some more about that, you can go check out the interview I did with Rudolfo, who created this conference. I did a great interview with him a couple months back in January, so you can go check it out. Links in the show notes to go check it out on the website. And yeah, it's a really great thing. Now, we also need to talk about this show being a value for value model, meaning if you get any value out of it, give some value back. That value can be anything you like: time, talent, or treasure, the 3 T's. Now, the first one here, of course, is treasure donation. We'll come back to the treasure donation. Yeah, treasure donation. Let's talk about treasure donation while my brain is on money. You get any value, it saves you time. You learn about a cool plugin that's free, that saves you hundreds of dollars a year and hours of work. Hey, what's that worth to you? Worth at least a cup of coffee. Go in there and donate $5 or whatever number tweaks your fancy. Just go to the donation page, enter it in, pay via PayPal right there. Leave us a note. We'll read it out for the show. One of the best ways you can support the show. Now, of course, other ways you can support the show is through talent. You can do that by donating your artwork. And we now have the new gallery fully available and functional on the website. We've got the first couple images, ones that I've created here, and as more and more people donate artwork and it gets approved, it will start to appear here and expand this gallery out for everyone to see. To submit your artwork, just scroll down the page a little bit, get a title, a description, make it a story, whatever you want for the artwork, and then upload your image up to 1 megabyte in size, and upload a video if you've got one up to 6 megs in size. That's about a 15-second video. Nice cool thing about it, if you do upload that, it'll actually display on its own page on the website where it showcases the artwork and it showcases the video for everyone to see. So they can see both of them. Some really cool stuff there in the artwork so we can showcase what your talents might be, and it's a great way, and I forgot to turn that off. Once again, I try to remember that. Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. Yes, I get emails every 15 minutes, and we've been here 15 minutes, so.
Ba-ding.
All right. So anyway, it's a really great way to showcase your talent, and that is one of the ways you can support the show is by giving us artwork and taking the load off of us for having to create the artwork week after week. You know, just make sure you say who you are so you get credit for the artwork. All right, the other way you can do that, of course, you can go check out the new Artist Vaults too. The Artist Vaults is where they have the historical artwork that was created for the website, and the current artwork gallery, and then all the historical stuff from times gone by, since I created a new type of art gallery for the system.
Is Snark a talent? Because I think I can spare some of that, says Hemdian. Absolutely, Snark is a talent. Helps keep our show interesting.
Well, yeah, that's having you there with the Snark, you know, making comments like people not committing to having drinking, even though if we don't always catch them in time. Hey, it's important stuff. You know, another way you can support us is get out there and plug people into our show. Tell them about WP Plugins A to Z. Let them know we exist. Talk to people. Submit plugins. You can submit a plugin to the website even if you are not the developer. If you're not the developer, just check the box. Say, no, I'm not the developer, but I'm submitting this plugin because I think it's really cool for you to have a look at and check out. Some of those plugins, because we have a backlog now, when I do my show every other Monday that Amber's not here, I'm bringing those plugins into that show there. So, because we don't always get them to this show. It does take us time to get them in. We've got a backlog of them right now. But you can submit plugins to the show, tell people about the show, submit your own plugin to the show. Another way, if you're a developer or you have something of importance to say to the WordPress community, book an interview. We'll do a whole, anywhere from half an hour to an hour long interview or longer if we got great conversation going to share out to the world so that people can learn about you and make some content that they love. So that's how you can support this show in a value for value model. And we are trying our best to make sure everyone gets value out of it. We've recreated a website here that has the content. Now I'm working on a search engine for it so people can find the back history of all the plugins.
You should show everyone what it looks like in dark mode, just because it's
a
recently added thing.
I forgot about that, dark mode. There you go. There it is in dark mode for everyone to have everyone to have a look at. Yeah, it's got a dark mode toggle on it, so for those that need their eyeballs dimmed down to be able to see the internet now. So I like it. It's cool, but for some reason it doesn't work with my eyeballs.
You're not goth enough.
Yeah, maybe that's my problem. I was never goth enough. All right. A couple other quick things to cover here in Rogue's Corner. Some security stuff. Once again, we have bad actors out there buying up WordPress plugins, injecting malware, and screwing over people. It happened last week. And fortunately, the WordPress repository caught it, and they forced upgraded people. But this was a malware backdoor payload that was inserted 8 months ago before they activated it. Eesh. And basically, what it did was it hijacked your website content if somebody came from Google and sent off the content off to spam pages. It's very interesting. We haven't seen this in a while, but this has occurred before. And usually it happens because somebody goes, you know what, I don't want this plugin anymore. They put it up for sale. Somebody comes in and buys it. WordPress, if it's held in the repository, they're going to have to look at ways to re-vet new owners of a plugin. Because somebody gets the plugin, they get the access to the WordPress repo, and they get automatic commits because the plugin's been there a while. They can commit, so they can take their new malware and it's automatically committed. And people running their websites goes, oh, I got an update, and they may or may not look at the change log, but the change log isn't going to say, hey, we added malware to it, But so you don't know what it is unless you go through the code yourself. And so you're trusting that code to be correct. And that is a problem. So this is a really interesting one. And it's one that I thought I would bring to people's notice is you got to kind of pay attention if your plugins get sold, who is the new buyers. But I guess the plugin was sold on Flippa, but I don't even know what that is. But I guess it's a place, and they documented it. And I mean, the guy built up a system of 30 plugins, and then he sold it for a large chunk of change and said, "That's not my problem anymore," which in truth it is not his problem. But anyway, something to be aware of. It can happen.
So a couple things. One, Hemdian asks, if a bad actor does that and doesn't get caught because they're good at acting, does that make them a good actor?
Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
Maybe. Maybe. It makes him a very good actor and not getting caught. But
and I think that is Ryan. Hi, Ryan. Nice to see you. Glad you can make it.
Hey, Ryan. All right. And, I do have another link here to go check out Checkout Summit, when and where it's happening. And one last thing he's got from Checkout Summit, if you're heading there, he's got a post here for must-try restaurants while you're in Palmero. Even got a map so you can go check out all the different restaurants that you should go check out if you're attending the Checkout Summit WooCommerce event that is occurring in Palmero, Italy. Go have fun, party it up, enjoy yourselves. And real quickly, briefly, remember I said you can book an interview. I do have some interview dates open for May 4th, 18th, June 1st, 15th, and 29th. So go book your date for an interview with the show. And that's pretty much all I got here for that today. So let's go wander in and talk about plugins. Nope, that was the wrong button. That's
close enough.
It was close enough.
Dragon.
It was the dragon, but the dragon's only supposed to play for 5-star plugins. So it's a 5-star jumping into a review. There you go.
He's hungry.
Yeah, he's hungry. He needs something to eat. All right. Well, the first plugin I've got for you here is Secure Document Library. Now, this one came about, I was hunting for something. I've almost built it myself until I decided, well, let's see if there's any plugins available to solve the problem. What I needed to do was I needed to have a way to allow clients to download specific documents only to them. I want to put a PDF up instead of trying to email it or include it in something else, or I've written a document that has links to something. It's instead of sending them 3 PDFs, I can send them one with links to the other documents, etc. Things of that nature. And so I wanted to put onto the website and say, okay, here's the document. Now I need a secured link to this document that search engines can't get to, that people can't wander into accidentally, and that can only be viewed by the person who's got the link. Now, the one flaw that they didn't have was the expiration of the link. That is something I think they have available in their premium version. So I went with the free version to solve my immediate problem. I may end up going with their premium version, but it's really simple. You set it up. It sets up the document library for you. You go in and you upload. You give it a name, file name, you upload the file that you want, then you publish it, and then it gives you the unique link. It puts the documents in a separate subfolder in your uploads directory of your WordPress website, so it does secure them. And then you got to make sure you go in there for the settings for the program and go set the settings. They don't have a screenshot of the settings. On the settings page for it, and make sure you secure that folder with either htaccess or through a PHP page, which in case somebody wanders into the directory, they get no access to the directory at all, in case your web hosting provider has not turned off directory browsing. So, at any rate, fantastic plugin. The free version, quite fantastic, easy enough to set up and easy enough to use, and it does solve the problem if you need to have secure links to specific documents or files for people. Does a great job with the free version. The pro version, I think they have some listings on what the pro version does. Let's see here. Advanced settings, upload multiple files. No, they don't seem to. I thought they had a listing of the stuff here. I didn't write it down. So at any rate, they do have additional functions in the pro version which allow you to limit the amount of time for the thing and date the extension. Anyway, go check it out. It looks like it's probably Filer, F-I-L-R, or Filler, but we'll go with Filer.
I read it as Filler, but yeah, it seems like a really useful one.
Yeah, we'll call it Filer Secure Document Library, and because it's only the free version, I'm giving it a 4 dragon rating. Go check it out. Now, I do have a secondary plugin, but I think I've talked about it a couple of times, but why not one more time to... Oh, no, I haven't talked about this one. All right, this one here...
Not this one, I don't think.
Nope, this one here is one I added in. All right, I've been trying to find really good, easy ways to use ACF's repeater field in my Elementor build-outs. And the problem is Elementor does not natively support the repeater fields. And the repeater fields are fantastic if you've got a page that has basically the same content on it, just in a table format, and you want to be able to add and remove things in there. You need to be able to build a repeater field for it, which works perfect. I needed something that allowed for a text field, an image field, and a URL field that I could then link to the image field and link to the text field from the URL field. And that's where this one comes in. This repeater and relationship connector, once you install this plugin in there, you can now go set your query settings in Elementor using the loop grid. You can set the query settings in loop grid to use the repeater fields, and then you can build out your own loop grid in Elementor that uses those repeater fields, and you can build it out with images and text and titles, and then use the URLs and connect them to the images and the titles and everything else. And the nice thing about this is as people need to add and remove rows and columns, it's automatically done. They only have to do this on one page instead of building multiple pages and trying to remember what page is there. They just go to one page to edit, and they look down and say, oh, I've got all this, and then they change what they need to change. So it's a really fantastic. It worked fantastic. It set it up. It saved me tons of time having to build out my own system, which is what I was about to go do. And fantastic. And it's a free plugin. So go check it out. Repeaters and Relationships Connector with ACF for Elementor. And it gets a 5 dragon rating.
See, this is why he was hungry. He knew that you weren't going to give him two meals there. He only got one.
Yeah, well, he jumped the gun. All right. With that being done.
So if anybody out there has some tidbit tips they'd like to share here on the show, please send them in to me. Let's get some advice from people who have experience here for those who are new to the scene or even old to the scene. Or, like, did you break something? Share what you had to do to fix it, or share what you had to do to help someone else who broke something in a fantastical way. Like, there's all kinds of things that you can send in these tidbit tips on. I would love to have some from our listeners out there. So my tip to you today is, if you have not already, my recommendation is that you learn to type so well that you can type with a minimum 85 to 90% accuracy while typing with your eyes closed. This will help immensely with everything you do, including talking with AI. Like, working with AI, it's one of those things that will help with every aspect of working on the computer, is getting good at typing. This includes learning the numbers too, though, which I am still learning to do. I've never been great at using the numbers while I'm typing. It slows down my typing significantly, but I'm getting there with the numbers. And learning the numbers and all the little symbols and everything has definitely been helping me with my typing skills and helping me with my work in general. And when you have that kind of typing skill, your accuracy will start to go up because you stop thinking about where the keys are, and you stop thinking about looking at the keyboard or looking at the screen, and you just start typing. You can actually look at a completely different screen and start typing things, not have to look at the screen where your typing is showing up and not have to look at your keys. Your work will go way faster. It's very useful, very awesome. And also, something that goes along with this, which is something that I'm working on right now, is learning to read without reading out loud in your head. This is a whole new thing to me, but it seems to actually be helping. Most people, when they read, they're actually narrating in their head. So like you're reading your source for great WordPress plugins and interviews. Well, in your head, you're actually reading it, you're narrating it in your head when you read it. Most people do that. But speed readers, they don't narrate anything in their head. They glance at it and they expect their brain to simply accept the words and not really think about it. And that is something that will help you with getting through work and scanning different things and getting through all the research you have to do as well. Definitely something that's newer to me, and I'm absolutely working on it, but I just wanted to throw that in there because it kind of goes hand in hand with the typing and not thinking about what you're typing. And that is, I guess it's sort of 2 tips, but you know, they go hand in hand. So that's it for today.
Cool. And further on tips for those listening, a new section on the website that I am working on building out is going to be a tips section. We're going to take these tips that are going back and search through the historical tips, and we're going to add them into a new section of tips for people to be able to search, read, and find out tips, not only for, you know, helpful tips like this, but WordPress tips and others that we've given over the years. So we've got a lot of content buried deep in the website, and where this project started on johnoverall.com. I have 14,000 articles buried there. So it's like a lot of stuff over the years.
There is a lot of stuff.
So we're trying to bring it out and surface it for people to make use of it, because a lot of it is evergreen. So with all of that, it's time for you.
Just quickly, Hemdian said, or rather than typing, use a microphone and use ChatGPT to transcribe in real time. So I find that when I do that, the paragraphing and like all of the stuff that goes with making things legible by others doesn't really happen. No. I don't really use it that often though. So what about you? You use it. Do you find that you don't have to worry about the paragraphing and stuff, or do you have to go through and fix it?
The paragraphing's screwed. When I use the dictation, I sit there with my Enter key and create a new paragraph every time, because it does not do paragraphing unless you learn the proper command for it, and then it's actually slow. It's faster than my typing, because my typing skill sucks. I've tried over the years. I've managed to max out at 35 words a minute, and that was with medium accuracy and not being able to look away. But okay. But the dictation is way faster than that for me, but I still have to make it create paragraphs. And also, I mumble sometimes, and the dictation doesn't understand mumbling. It really doesn't. So
Hemdian said, my problem is not saying the quiet parts out loud, especially Word documents. Yep, that's an issue.
That can be an issue, too, is not saying the quiet parts out loud. Yes.
Apparently, your alter ego just fixes it all for you, so you're good.
Yeah, well, that happens too, but that's after I've gone through and corrected some of it.
All right, yeah, I was just curious about that, because if I guess you said to learn the command, so there's a command that you can learn to add in all of the stuff.
You hit the end of a sentence and you say return or something like that. But you have to remember to say that. But, you know, if you get in the flow of talking, you will forget that.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a command for, for backspacing or removing a word. There's verbal commands that it's supposed to, but it doesn't always pay attention to them either, which is really kind of irritating. So while
if you say it too close to the end of a sentence.
Yeah, while it's come a long way since Dragon Naturally Speaking, and it actually works really well and understands it, you have to slow down. Like my average talking speed is 100 words per minute. I have to slow down to about 75 words per minute for it to understand me. So. All
right. Well, thanks for clarifying that. It's a curiosity I've had. So my plugin today is WP Dark Mode. Improve accessibility with AI-powered dark theme. And so this is a plugin. I was actually using this a few years ago, and I liked it, but it got a little funny for a bit there, where the options were being put behind paywalls and things weren't quite right, working right, and it did weird things to images. So it was good, and then I guess they tried to put too much into it, so it got a little funky. But now it's fantastic. Like it's better than when I first started using it, which is pretty amazing. I love when plugins do that. I guess they went back to basics, but made it even better. It's awesome.
Yeah, is that the one you stuck on our website?
It is.
Okay, so that's this one here, folks. The one that makes this nice dark mode for us.
Yeah. So when I was using this before, with a lot of the images, what ended up happening is it ended up inverting the image colors whenever you put it on dark mode, which it looked kind of cool, but it wasn't great. And that's why I stopped using this initially, is because it messed up our images, and we couldn't have that.
Yeah.
So, and now they have a specialty area where you can put in replacement images or replacement videos, so that when you're in dark mode, you can have it go with the dark mode theme, which I think is really cool.
That is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Once you download and activate this, you'll find it in your left-hand menu. I actually can't remember what it's called. Oh, just WP Dark Mode. That's all it's called.
Yeah.
And you go there, click on settings. It'll take you to the control area, and you have a lot of options in the free section. They show you all the options you have in the pro version, but really what you get in the free is perfect. When you go there, you get 3 options for the color setup for dark mode. The first one has high contrast. The second one has like a medium contrast. And the third one, which is what I have this set up to, is actually not huge contrast. It's a much easier on my eyes. In the front end, you get to put the toggle so people can choose whether or not they have dark mode. And they also have an option where it will actually follow the user's immediate preference. So if you are a user who has everything set to dark mode, when they land on our site, they're just going to see it automatically in dark mode. But because we have the toggle on the front there, they'll see that it is toggled to dark mode, and all they have to do is hit that switch and it'll go to light mode, so they can see what it looks like in light mode, which I think is fantastic.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, I remember trying to figure out how to make it follow a person's preferences a while back before you could just throw in a plugin. It's hard. It's impressive work to me.
Yeah. Well, advances.
Yeah. One of the various problems that I've had with this with the dark mode plugins as well is trying to figure out like what is active and what's not. Like say the toggle on the front page there, trying to figure out whether it's flipped to dark or light, things like that, or seeing which plugin needs an update in the back end. It's kind of been hard because what they end up doing is they end up taking away the highlighting, or it was just all one color, and no matter if you scrolled over it or not, it didn't change the color of what you were highlighting. That's been a problem in a lot of dark modes, and they actually don't do that with this one. They keep the highlighting, they keep the difference in the coloration. And another thing is you can actually activate the back end dark mode without activating the front end, and vice versa. And each person who signs into the back end, they can choose whether or not to have the dark mode on or off. It's not universal, affects everyone. You can just have it for your account, which I also think is amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of personalization options in this, and I think that's really, really awesome. I love what they've done with this. The free version is actually quite amazing. They give you everything you need plus some.
Yeah. And
the pro version isn't all that expensive. You can even track to see how many users choose to use dark theme. So you can see if maybe more people who go to your site prefer dark theme, and you might want to think about revamping your site to go with most users.
Yep. Oh, there's that.
Yeah, it's a really cool plugin. I highly recommend it. And even though this is a pro, and usually I give pros a 4, this one I'm giving a 5 because they've just done such an amazing job, and the stuff that they have available and they're free is so useful for people like me who need dark mode. I really love these guys. They get a 5 dragon rating.
There you go. Yeah, well, sometimes a free version of a pro is worthy of a 5 because they give you everything you need instead of just enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, that's all. That's really quite cool. All right. Well, time for miscellaneous announcements and things, which is... There you go.
I like that sound. It's a different sound every time, I think.
Well, that's because I haven't pinpointed which one it is. And when I do pinpoint it, I forget to note it down for next show. I've got a whole bunch of random sounds left over on my soundboard here. That just anything. Could be this. There you go.
Nope. That one's no good.
Okay.
Hemdian said, letting users decide look and feel for themselves? Scoff. The marketing department might have something to say about that.
Yeah, well, they might, but it all depends on who you're marketing to.
Yep. So what we have here for miscellaneous announcement from all is not much, because we don't have anybody listening who would like to let us know that they're getting up on a WordPress stage or they've got a meetup coming up, which if you do, let us know. We'll put it here for you and let the whole world know about it. Currently, we have the next 5 WordPress Campus Connects that are coming up around the world. We have the WordCamp connection thing address there, and the meetup for WordPress connection there as well. Yep, words. Words are not my strong point today. That's okay. I just need more coffee.
Quite all right. All right. Well, then let's go talk about our affiliates. We do have affiliates, folks. We have 4 companies that we are affiliated with, and we recommend their products. And we recommend them because we use them, and they're really quite good. So I don't think we've made a single dime or a sale off of these, but hey, I'm still going to recommend them. So we'll keep doing it. Sooner or later, someone will use the links in our show notes. So first one, of course, is Termageddon. And Termageddon here will save you tons of time, hours, and headaches getting your cookie policy set up, your privacy policy set up, your disclaimers, and more. And the best part is they help you keep it up to date and legally compliant to an extent. And they help cover most of the globe now. They cover North America and lots of Europe, covering the GDPU, the California laws, all of these different things in there. The affordability is quite affordable. It's only $120 a year. You can buy it from our affiliate link. We make $1 on it. The price doesn't change for you. All that happens is we get a small credit off of it for you buying it. And it only takes a little while to get it set up. Once you've set it up, when the laws change, which they do, and these folks monitor all the laws, they add, if they think it's going to be needed, they add in a section. Then they'll send you an email and say, hey, you might be relevant to these new law changes in this state here, or this province, or this European country, or wherever. You go check your policy settings, you say yes or no, and then you answer any additional questions, and boom, your policy's up to date, and you're ready to go. So it can save you tons of time. It's a great way to do it, and their cookie consent thing is fantastic. I just finished setting it up today for WP Plugins A-Z to get that site fully compliant again. All right, and next one's you.
Next, we have Rank Math. Rank Math is definitely my favorite SEO plugin for WordPress. Free version delivers everything you need to get serious about boosting your ranks and start to get noticed by the world. Premium, they give you amazing advanced tools that help with your optimization, makes it super easy. And their documents are written in plain, everyday English. You don't actually need a tech degree in order to understand it, which is really nice, because there's some places where the documentation has words in there that I'm looking at going, what does that mean? And the premium costs way less than the others, like about a third of the price of Yoast or all-in-one SEO.
Yeah.
And all of this is just, you get all kinds of awesome features, and whether you're a beginner or a pro, these guys are awesome to work with. Like, their customer service is ace. Definitely go and check them out.
Oh yeah, and their newest addition to the system, if you're using their business, is the backlink checker.
The backlink.
The link checker, to see if you've got broken links, and it not only checks your external links, but it checks your internal links too. And it's a fantastic way to find your internal links, because the nice thing, when it gives you the report, it tells you not only what page that link is broken from, but it tells you what text is being used for that link. So whatever the anchor text is for that link, so you can find it really easily in the page and go edit it and clean it up. So very good, great tools, and they keep adding to it. Their AI stuff is not bad, but all the rest of it, quite fantastic.
Yeah, they're adding to it without causing it to bloat your site and make it run slower. They're keeping it nice and light.
I was impressed at how well the link checker tool worked. It didn't seem to trash the sites, because I've tried using link checker plugins in the past, and they cause the site to turn into just
a snail.
And it's like, because it's running so much stuff in the background checking backlinks, because that is a big process. Now, I dumped this thing on, well, the site that I have it on that I got to check on is johnoverall.com, which, as I said, has 14,000 posts and tens of thousands of backlinks. Now, I've got about 8,000 broken links, but of course the data is old and it'll take me a long time to fix. But hey, it didn't cause the site to turn into a crawl when it ran that check. So, all right. Other than that, we've got BunnyNet, bunny.net, fantastic CDN network that will save you tons of time and money, because their CDN network is quite affordable compared to many other CDN network platforms. It's a great place to host your videos, your images, your audio files, all of those things. The audio files for this show are now hosted at BunnyNet, so they're easily delivered worldwide. You get some really good stats on where they're downloaded worldwide. So we've come to discover that we're downloaded more countries than we thought we were downloaded. So thank you to everyone in Japan and China and India and other places in the world, which, like, why? Well, we got listeners there. That's cool. All right, so go check them out. It's very affordable. Use our link in a show note. Like I said, we make a couple of bucks. It doesn't cost you any more, and they do have a 14-day trial where you can try it out and see how well it's going to work for you. And it's real easy to set up. We reviewed a plugin that you can drop into your WordPress that connects to BunnyNet very easily, so you can auto-upload your files through your media library, and they get placed in BunnyNet in the same media structure as you have for your website, which is a cool thing. All right, and the final one we've got for you is Glow, WP Maintenance Manager. You can check them out for free, up to 3 websites. It's a really great centralized dashboard for managing multiple WordPress websites. If you're so inclined, you can do your updates from there. But what I find most useful is the reports that you can create from it, especially if you're managing for clients. You need to give a report on a monthly basis or bi-monthly, however often you do it. You can set up these reports, and if you have access to their Google Analytics data, you can connect Google Analytics and Google Search Console to this, and it'll pull in that data and include that in the report for them, along with multiple other things. It even has an uptime monitor that you can have set to send you an email if one of the websites goes down for whatever reason. There's just multiple things it can do for you. So you can go check it out for free, up to 3 websites. After that, it's $2.99 a site, or buy in bulk at 20 websites for $49, which is a few bucks cheaper, or even further up the line as you need to. Go check them out. They're quite fantastic. All right. Well, we've talked about all of the other stuff, and I guess we covered up the following plugins. I covered up today. The plugins I covered was Filer, Secure Document Library by WP Chill. Safely upload and share documents on your website to unique URLs. And it helps you keep organized for that and use direct links. Or, I forgot to mention the one thing in here, is that they have a library. If this is you're creating a library of documents that you want people to download, you can use a shortcode and display the library of documents. That was the other thing in the Pro version. You can have multiple libraries in it. So
that is cool.
So the other plugin I covered was Repeaters and Relationships Connector with ACF for Elementor by Solid Digital. Allows you to use the ACF repeater and relationship fields as data sources for Elementor's loop grid. So it allows you to build out loop grids for multiple ways of displaying stuff. Very useful plugin, and I gave that one a 5-dragon rating.
And I covered WP Dark Mode, improve accessibility with AI-powered dark theme by WP Pool. You can give visitors the option of dark mode or follow their system presets. Admin panel dark mode, and you can enable this without enabling the front end, and vice versa. You can also enable the front end without enabling the back end. And they have so many options. They're just fantastic. I rate this at 5 dragons.
Very cool. All right. And you can always reach us through our brick and mortar addresses and our email addresses. The information is located in the show notes. Go check that out. And it is...
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
This one here's a section I'm bringing up into the website too, of all these questions you've been trying to ping me with for how's long been going on with this? 2 years now?
I don't know. 2, 3 years, something like that, maybe 4.
There's a lot of questions you've asked, and
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to find them, loop them in, and make it easy for people to find them and go check them out, because there's been a lot of really good stuff throughout the last 3 years you've done this.
Yeah, and not all of them are questions like, how do you do this or what is this? A lot of them are actually like looking for your expertise or looking for examples or just looking at your experiences that you've had and seeing, like today. My first question here is, what is your take on this EM Dash being created by Cloudflare? Cloudflare.
Well, we kind of covered that back at the beginning of the show. And
we did.
Well, my take on it is it's interesting that they're trying to create another CMS system that will compete with WordPress, and one that will stand alone eventually. That'd be cool if it can stand alone eventually and still have the plugin system. So that's the one thing that WordPress did unique to everyone else out there. When CMSs were first starting out, there was, I can't remember the names of them now, Drupal, and I can't remember the others. Typeset, I think, was another one. But they all had this, and they did sort of have a plugin system, but you had to be almost a hardcore coder. You had to really understand to go manually insert the plugin and insert and edit code to get it to work properly. Whereas WordPress went with this plugin system where you plug it in, you turn it on, and it just worked. And that's what made it fantastic. And Cloudflare's EM Dash is similar to that from what I understand. Like I said, I haven't gone down to explore it yet. All I've done is saw the Twitter feeds on it and the different articles about it. And, you know, my personal take on it is it sounds like because they're starting out making it only have the plugins accessible on Cloudflare, it sounds like a way for them to sell more of their products. So all good. But I think it could force a change in direction of WordPress itself, is what it could do. Because if it really actually started to make a dent in WordPress and became a challenger to people that have been hardcore WordPress as long as I am, going, maybe I might consider changing this. And then they start with one website and go, hey, this is fantastic. And then if they can add their own plugins to make it work and say, hey, this is really great, or hey, can I port that plugin from WordPress to this? You know, will this system be able to turn into a full-blown CMS to where you can have an e-commerce store like WooCommerce, or a forum like BuddyPress, which are mapped on top of WordPress? So if it can do those sorts of things, it could be fantastic. Other than that, I'm almost at the moment, I kind of look at it as a marketing ploy by Cloudflare is at the moment. But who knows what can happen over the next 2 or 3 years? And the fact that it's going full AI, well, yeah, they're going after the lowest common denominator of people out there, the people who think they can vibe code their way to perfection.
Well, I mean, other things, so this is the second question. The Cloudflare team claims newer generations prefer using AI agents, TypeScript ecosystems, serverless, and AI-friendly component frameworks.
Yeah. It's because they have no knowledge of how to code.
So you mentioned that, like, if it continues growing and developing, that it could be a thing.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't think it's going to ever replace CMSs like WordPress.
No.
But I kind of think that WordPress is already moving towards trying to integrate these same kind of ideas into WordPress and make it an option. Mm-hmm. They're having issues doing it. as proven by going back to beta.
Well, that's because of the way the database was originally constructed in WordPress.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah. So do you think that do you think it's going to overtake WordPress? I
No.
don't, but what do you think?
No,
Okay.
if it did, it would take 5 to 10 years to overtake WordPress.
Yeah.
Because you still have we got to wait until all us old coders die. As we die out, then it might overtake WordPress.
Oh, well, your generation's never going to die. You've proven that.
Yeah, well, we're trying very hard to never do that. But anyway, as Hemdian says, competition can spark more innovation in WordPress. And yes, it can. And in some aspects, it has. It's like the competition from Wix and Squarespace and others has. Although Wix is shooting themselves in the foot and people are starting to leave them in droves. So
they do that. They go through a phase where they shoot themselves in the foot, and then they go through a phase where they're really awesome. They do this cycle, it seems.
Yeah, well, currently they're shooting themselves in the foot. So at any rate, yeah, the competition will help. And hopefully, if they solve the problem with what they're trying to do with the multiple people working on a document at the same time, if they manage to solve that problem along with the AI problems, it could make WordPress better. Personally, I don't need to have multiple people working on the same document, but there are lots of places to do, lots of websites to do. So hopefully, they'll solve it.
Some of our clients have to have special places where they can all collaborate on things. So being able, I could see businesses like that.
Yeah. So it's just interesting because the internet is changing. AI has forced some major changes in it, and the ability for people to vibe code to get about 90% of the way there, and then they still got to bring in a coder to fix things. So.
Oh, Hemdian said, right now I'm wondering about the no-build approach of Notebook LM websites. Upload content material and let the AI figure out how to dynamically serve it. I haven't even heard of this.
I've heard of it, but I've never heard about Notebook LM. I've heard about other options, not Astra. It was another one that began with an A. Yoast wrote about it last week, or a couple of weeks ago now, and how he left a WordPress website with his main content website. But those ones there are content websites. And you can only do it with content websites because if you have a website that has a store, how is it going to manage all the stuff that's held in a database, such as one product with 7 variations and then multiple pricing and then the checkout process of everything that goes on? Or in a forum, or, we have so many different types of websites. The Notebook LM type of website is, hey, you got a content website. We may as well go to Substack, which is a pure content website. If you read Substack articles, they're just content.
Yeah.
And this is where AI actually excels, is on content websites, because you can just give it some information, tell it to go do it. It'll create the HTML and all the rest of it, and boom, done. It's like going back to the early 2000s, late 90s, where all websites were pure HTML and CSS had barely begun to be invented. People were thinking about it, but they couldn't quite make it work. And then all of a sudden they made it work, and then they had to make the browsers capable of understanding the CSS. And you got to remember, everything works hand in hand on the internet. Your browser works together with the CSS, works together with the HTML, works together with the PHP located on the servers, which works together with the jQuery and the JavaScript running in the background. Some of it runs server side, some of it runs browser side. I mean, the integration of the internet didn't happen overnight. It's been 26 years. Actually longer than that. We're going back to 96 when I first started playing with this stuff. So that's 30 years now. That's 30 years of innovations and one thing building on top of the other. I still remember when email first became a thing and you had to tell people, no, the @ symbol, not AT.
I remember that.
Because that's the way the internet built. And then, of course, it got dumbed down massively. by Steve Jobs when he invented and pushed the iPhone out there. It got dumbed down to where anybody could do anything, because now they just find an icon, push a button, something happens. They have no clue what goes on in the back end.
Yeah, most people don't really understand, and it's interesting to me because I have a basic understanding of how things happen, and it's so fascinating seeing how trusting people are.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is they are 100% trusting that what they're pushing that button, it's doing exactly what that is. But as they're discovering now, when we get these data links, or hey, your phone just tracked you as you walked down, took a crap, you went down the hall and said hi to your buddy, you went out and walked the dog, and then we took that data that you shared with this app, and hey, we shared it over to this marketing company to market you on better, softer toilet paper and a new leash for your dog and maybe a new brand of coffee for your buddy. So hey, we touched your buddy's phone while we were there because they connected real briefly, and we found out your buddy's favorite coffee is this. So here, so what's happened, and because people didn't realize, if you get it for free, you're the product.
You are the product.
You are the product. There is no such thing as a free lunch. You're paying for it somewhere, and now you pay for it with your data. And while we try to create laws to prevent that,
it's never going to be fully squashed.
It's never, because there's going to be the bad actors, like we talked about in the beginning, that went, hey, I bought these plugins, let me insert some malware here, and now I can steal your traffic and sell my scam products.
Or as Hamdian pointed out, possibly good actors, because they're really good at it.
Yeah, well, because they're really good at it. So anyway, all right, well, that was enough of randomness there. That covered both your questions. We didn't delineate them. So we're going to call that the end of the credits, or the end of those two questions. And for those listening to the downloads that are still listening after that big ramble, you got to come back to the YouTube channel to check out the really good stuff. And we're going to let our girl take us on out of here, and we'll be right back.
Reminders for the show. All the show notes can be found at wppluginsa-z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by you, the developers, because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa-z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show through your favorite podcast app. You can also watch the show live on YouTube at WP Plugins A-Z, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. You can also follow the show on X at WP Plugins A-Z. John can be reached directly through the website wpproaz.com or email him at john@wppro.ca. Amber can also be contacted through the website at wpproaz.com or email her directly, amber@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
All righty, we're back. And what's the final two questions?
Final two questions are, what do you think about AI being positioned as a central tool in modern web development and CMS platforms? And I may as well read out the second one because they're connected, and knowing you'll probably answer them both at once. Do you believe this heavy reliance on AI as a core part of workflow will ultimately help or hinder future generations of developers?
Those are actually good questions. I like those. All right. Well, the AI being positioned as a central tool in modern web development and CSS platforms is been a boon. Innovation, I mean, it's been just over a year and a half since AI jumped on the scene of development. I remember it because that was when I recommitted back to doing WordPress. And I wasn't overly excited until the AI came out, and I went, okay, well, let's give this a try. I want to try and create, because I understand code. I can read code. I can write it if I have weeks to write a small plugin and stay focused, because my typing skills suck. And that is a hindrance to me. But what I found out was AI is like, I can do this. I can start with my samples of it and say, fix this, and give me the whole code typed out in proper layout format so I can read it and see what it is. AI did that. It allowed me, if you go look at my GitHub, you can see everything that I've put into my GitHub just since I started this. I've created about 20 plugins to solve little problems that I need to solve. So having it as a central tool has been a boon. For guys I know who are really good developers, way above my skill level, and fantastic typists, this has improved their game 20-fold. While mine went up 10, 15-fold, theirs went up 20, 30-fold because they know even more. And they've produced even more stuff. So it has been a major boon for CMS platforms, for HTML platforms, and it's going to be a heavy reliance as a core part of the workflow for as long as the AI remains affordable. That is the biggest problem in the world today, is the AI is costing them a fortune to run in electricity. And so that's where the problem lies. But it's going to keep helping. It's ultimately helping. It's already helped. I mean, we've had a boon in creativity. You can look at the number of WordPress plugins sitting in the repo waiting to be approved now. They're at a record high of like 900 plugins or something, waiting to be reviewed, to be approved. And that's because people are capable of using AI to create their plugins. You can create one in an afternoon. I've created multiple plugins in an afternoon. I've created some really complex plugins that took me about a day.
That's pretty awesome.
You know, I've done some really interesting things with it because I know how to do it. The biggest detriment here is those that think they know what they're doing, the ones that's like, I'll just vibe code it, tell it what I need, and it'll produce exactly what I want. Well, the problem is the AI hallucinates. I've had this problem myself where it does something, I go, that's not quite right, I go fix this. And it fixes that, but it creates a whole new set of problems or erases code or changes code on you. Puts different code in, and now it's all broken. It's like, oh, no. I've actually had a couple of times where I've gotten most of the way through it, and it's not working, and all of a sudden it's changed. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, you got to stop. Put everything aside. You go back to a version that worked very well, and then you start all fresh in the AI, in a new AI window, and have it start over from that point. Don't try to let it continue from where it left off. That is the one nice thing about AI, especially I use Grok for most of my stuff. He doesn't, he recalls sort of what you've done before, but he doesn't remember each conversation window individually or combine them together. If you say, hey, go look at this, he doesn't know the conversation. You have to give him the conversation back. So anyway, it's those that don't understand code are going to get themselves in the most amount of trouble. They're going to be the ones that create the most amount of security flaws, or if they're trying to create an app that uses an API key that costs them money, they're going to end up with a $20,000 bill in short order. That's happened a few times. That's made the news a few times, where people create this fantastic app where they didn't put limits on their API key usage, and the API key, they got a bill for like 20 grand for API key usage.
Yeah, so it's people who probably know about as much as I do. They can kind of read the code, understand what's going on in the code, and because they can understand what's going on in the code, they think that they can now write it, and that is not true.
No.
I can understand what's going on in code just fine, but I cannot write code. I can change CSS, but that is like the extent of my ability to create for code. I haven't really worked too hard on being able to write things because I'm better at just fixing things.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, code is interesting. What you got to understand is the logic on where it's flowing from one section to the next, or how each sections are tying together and the logic of it, or how you're calling something from this subfile here to flow into this logic there. It's very interesting. I like Hemdian's comment here where the other day he asked an AI or ChatGPT, which is the biggest AI that has the most amount of hallucinations. And he asked if Mark Carney was PM, and it said, no, Justin Trudeau is.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, well, ChatGPT, I'd trust that one about as far as I can throw it. But then, consider the
I've
source.
been hearing that the creator of it is like not very good at telling the truth, and like the AI he made is in his image. So
Well, that's the whole thing. Every program created by a programmer is created in that programmer's image. Because
I never thought about that.
When-
That is true.
well, think about code. Code is basically a mathematical
Form of art.
It's a mathematical story. And what you're doing is you're telling a story for a computer, which only understands the ones and zeros, to say, okay, take this story and output what I want from this story. So whatever you put into the code is a reflection of the developer. If they're an honest developer, the code tends to reflect their honesty. If they've got a little bit of a dark side, their code tends to reflect dark side. Especially if you go through and read some of the code from the, I guess, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. You go read the comments in there from from the coders. I mean, some of the comments in the code are really dark.
Yeah, well, like coding is a form of art, and art always reflects the artist.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's like, but code is, Mullenweg did say one thing really great about WordPress when it was created. It's talking about the code. He had said code is poetry, and it is kind of. It's a form of poetry.
MDM said, "I know C."
C plus or C sharp.
C sharp. Okay, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was
C
C sharp
pound.
or C pound.
C pound. I know C pound. Yeah, C sharp. Back when that symbol stood for sharp, not pound.
It's music that it stands for sharp, and when I see it written down other things, I think pound.
Yeah, I know.
So, but he had to mod a C++ program at work, and he was able to do this thanks to Copilot, but still had to oversee the process to spot errors and call them out. And yeah, that makes sense that you had to oversee it.
Yeah, well, so that's the whole thing. That's where AI is great at, that is to have it do something, but it needs a developer to oversee what it's doing.
Yeah.
That's why they said when AI was going to replace developers, no, it might replace the early interns, which would be a mistake because you need them to develop into experienced developers. So if you just replace them with AI, who's going to be your experienced developers 5 years down the road? So that's, companies have this very short-sightedness. It's like, hey, we can save $1 million by using AI, but in 5 years' time, it's going to cost us $20 million because we don't have developers. So, they don't see the long game. They only see the short quarterly or annual gain. But yeah, you do need an experienced developer or an experienced coder to oversee the code that's being produced. Whereas you can't have, which what we've had, you see there's less and less of the people, I've vibe coded this fantastic. It's been less and less of those appearing lately. Because vibe coding,
it has issues.
Well, it's because you're basically given a typewriter to a monkey or a team of monkeys and saying, type me this Shakespeare play. They can do it if you let them type long enough or randomly enough, for 10,000 years. But it's the same sort of thing. You can't depend on it to do it. Even with the stuff I've had Grok create, I've had to go back, reread it, and clarify, and go, okay, you need to fix this, you need to fix that. But the one thing he does brilliantly for me is, in the end, he types it all out instantaneously, and I can just copy and paste the code, and it works because it's all structured right. And that's the big one, and that's where it will save tons of time and tons of money for people.
So, for the future generations, do you think the heavy reliance on AI as a core part of workflow is going to help or hinder them?
Oh, it's going to be a help. It's going to be a help. In the end, it's going to be a help. And there will be less entry-level positions for it. Because you can have AI do a lot of the early entry-level stuff. But basically, people are going to have to self-train their entry-level stuff. They'll have to be like all the coders that came up in the 80s and 90s. There was no schooling or training for them. They all just had an interest, and they sat down and did it.
Hemdian said, back in the day in the UK, they tried to replace local developers with cheaper offshore developers and found they needed way more senior devs to oversee and coordinate, which canceled out the savings. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, well, that's happening now. I guess the one big advantage to AI is they fired tens of thousands of Indian coders from India because they no longer need them. Because those are all entry-level positions. Those guys are not experienced. They're just pure entry-level code. So that's the other thing that's happening too. I'm willing to bet. I don't know this one for a fact, but I'm gonna run out on a limb and say I'm willing to bet a lot of these people now that can get the AI to build their fantastic, cheap, single HTML page websites are doing it themselves with AI instead of hiring the $100 East Indians to do it.
That is true. I do see a downside, though, because like you mentioned, there's going to be a lot less entry-level positions, which means that in order to get into this industry in the future, you're going to have all of the letters behind your name before people are even going to look at you.
Oh, no. What you have to have is you have to start in high school and start sitting down and learning code and learning how computers work. Now, unfortunately, they don't teach how computers work anymore. I mean,
actually, my daughter is in a computer course, and she knows more than her teacher, who just puts them through like these online things.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what I went and I learned CSS through, which I can't remember the name of the site right now, but that's essentially what they do. And they do that, and they learn typing, and that is what they do in computer class right now. And Alea, like she really loves this stuff. She's especially interested in the cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not really learning much in this class. It sounds like, because she can go, she goes over her teacher's head all the time.
Yeah, well,
but
they're not teaching as much as they used to. All right, well, we've rambled on enough. For those of you that are still listening on YouTube, we greatly appreciate you hanging out here. We had 9 of you today, so all 9 of our listeners that showed up today at various points. We still have 5 hanging on. Thank you very much.
I love our 9 listeners.
We greatly appreciate it, and we're going to call this a day. And as we said, Hemdian, in your final comment there, where do the experienced devs come from if there's no entry-level jobs? That's what's going to happen. At any rate,
it's going to be an issue.
We're going to play a little music to just carry us on out of here, and thank you all for showing up.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun.
Alrighty, folks. That's all we got now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no. Obviously, we just lost the satellite feed.